Yo, guys, sorry I'm late. Apologies. I'm not even gonna front. I completely forgot that I set the stream for 12. So I didn't set my alarm for 12. I woke up maybe like 30 minutes ago and I was like, raw, I feel like I have a stream today and bang, yeah. Yeah. So it was a mad dash to try and set it up. I'll even be real with you. I only watched I only properly watched highlights of the Spurs game just now when I was prepping my notes, just because it was like a out of sight, out of mind thing yesterday as far as the game was concerned. But there was just too much. There's just been too much news, bad news, bad Spurs news over the past couple of days, and it just makes you feel like genuine anger and disgust towards the club. Um, I didn't need to watch the game, to be honest. I didn't need to watch the full 90 minutes. I remember seeing at halftime in that game that Spurs had more offsides than we had shots at goal. Deep that. Spurs had more offsides in the first half than we had shots at goal. Not even shots on target, just shots at goal. That was yet another game where Spurs failed to score or even have a shot on target at half time, right? And to be honest with you, I've lost count. I've lost count of the amount of games where that's happened this season. The amount of games where Spurs can't even register a shot on target. 0.00 XG at halftime. This is a team that are supposedly trying to fight for the season, trying to fight. All of the bullshit comments that they come out with, the stuff that Harry Kane says, the stuff that Højbjerg says, the stuff that Ryan Mason says, the stuff that Kulu says, the stuff that they all say, it just never resonates on the football pitch this season. It never does. It's just lip service. It is just lip service. Literally. It's just lip service. So, yeah. Richarlison offside twice. Son was offside 4 times. 4 times in the game. Kane wasn't actually offside. That was our first half in a nutshell. I didn't need to watch the game to know what was happening. I saw that by the end of the first half, Aston Villa had like three genuine opportunities to score. Yet again, Spurs were lucky. Spurs were lucky not to be 2-0 down in the first half. Bearing in mind, this is a ground that we've actually been quite good at in the Premier League. This is a ground where we've never really been goal shy. And yet, this team this season rocks up and does what it's done for the majority of the season away from home. Right? And I think that is now 9 straight away games where we haven't won. Right? And if I look at our results away from home as well, if I look at our results away from home as a team, Aston Villa loss, Liverpool loss, Newcastle loss, Everton draw, Southampton draw, Wolves loss, Sheffield United loss, Milan loss, Leicester battering. How many results did I just go through there? Our last away wins were against in the league, Fulham at home, Fulham at their ground, and Preston in the FA Cup. Since then, that's a battering to Leicester. Leicester are fighting relegation, and you got smoked 4-1. Milan couldn't score to save their lives at the time. They were losing left, right, and centre. You went there, you couldn't even score, lost 1-0. 2. Sheffield United played their C team. Their C team, right? Their C team. They're a championship side and they played their B or C team. You lost 1-0. 3. Wolves, you've seen how I speak on Wolves. They're not a good side. They can't score. You lost 1-0, nil point. 4. Southampton have literally been relegated. 5. You drew 3-3 from 3-1 up. Everton, playing against 10 men. 6. You drew 1-1. Fighting relegation. Newcastle, battered. Humiliation. 5-0 in 21 minutes. 7. Liverpool, 3-0 down in 15 minutes. And you recover the game to then lose it. 8. And Aston Villa, 2-1. 9. In a way, I'm like, I don't want to say I'm happy. I don't want to say I'm happy that we lost, because I don't like the feeling of losing a Spurs game. But low key, I'm somewhat glad that a team as shambolic as ours, with some of the players that we have, with even the notion that Ryan Mason should be given the Spurs gig full time and another opportunity to try and salvage this season. I'm glad that that's disintegrating. I'm glad that that's drifting further and further. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I would be comfortable with no Europe. It's what they deserve. It is what they deserve. Right? It's what they deserve. Aston Villa are meant to be a side that you're meant to be competing with at this moment in time for Europe. And I know that we're still above them on goal difference, I think. Let me even double check that. Yeah, we're still above them on goal difference, but we're level on points. But Brighton have got 3 games in hand over us. Obviously, Brighton have got difficult fixtures. But can you imagine that was a game playing up against the side that you're meant to be competing with? Spurs have had crunch games littered throughout the last couple of weeks. Decisive game at home v Man United, you don't win. Decisive game away against Newcastle, you get battered. Decisive game away against Liverpool, where you always lose, you lose. They're just losers, man. They're just losers. And when you need them to perform, they don't perform. Mason isn't going to save that. He's not. Kane has scored 27 league goals, and he can't save it. We only start playing once the game is taken away from us. I don't need to. I didn't need to watch 90 minutes, and I'm glad I didn't watch 90 minutes, because it would have been 90 minutes of pain. I felt sorry for Expressions doing the watch along. I felt sorry for all the other Spurs channels doing the watch alongs. I felt sorry for these men, because you're being robbed of your Saturday afternoon. I had a great Saturday afternoon yesterday, outside of responding to messages on WhatsApp, which I had a great Saturday afternoon. I really did. I genuinely did. Yeah. I wasn't even at home when the game was on. I went for a stroll with my girl. We had a Nando's. It was great. It was really good. Right? I walked like 5-6 kilometers. It was great. I did all of that. And still, I could tell you the blueprint of the game without even having to watch a concentrated 10-15 minutes. I can tell you the blueprint of the game. Spurs will sit off Aston Villa, no press, defense 6s and 7s, no quality from the midfield. I can literally tell you that performance without having to watch it. Genuinely. My friends were messaging me at halftime, some who were watching, the same old comments. Oh my God, our midfield's so bad. Oh my God, Romero's so rash. Oh my God, why can't our front line press? Oh my God, why do we look so poor out of possession? Oh my God, why don't we ever show no fight? Leopard don't change its spots, man. It doesn't. And I'm not sure if any of you guys watched my preview on the Friday, but I don't even know why I predicted a win, because it went against my common sense. I had marked this game down as a loss in my head weeks back. Aston Villa have actually got a strong record at home as of late, right? But I don't even know what came over me. You know, like you're trying to make up the margin on Saeed. I don't want to do the same thing he did. Yeah. But yeah. Yeah. It's just, what's the point, man? We play a midfield duo that can't play progressive passes, right? Our front line, it doesn't press. It doesn't press at all. We put no pressure on the opposition. None whatsoever. And Kane is a part of this. Kane is a big problem with this. I love Harry Kane. Right? We can't replace his goals right now. But as a team, we are so easy to play against. I've said it a million times. When the opposition has the ball, we make them look like they're the best team on earth. Why? Because we never put any pressure on them. We never put any pressure on the opposition. And it starts from the front and spreads throughout the back. Kane leads our line, but he doesn't press. He don't press. And I'm not even trying to have a go at Harry. I'm just stating a fact. He doesn't press. Richarlison ain't pressing. Son ain't pressing. We are not coached. We are not coached to have a coordinated press. It doesn't happen. Either because the players don't want to do it, or the team isn't taught it, or it's not instructed, but we don't press. And it leads from the front. The very best teams in the league, they squeeze the opposition. They squeeze the opposition, bro. It's so unorganized. Like, you have to ask yourself, what's being coached in these players? I can't even put it too much on Mason because you've only been there a couple of weeks versus the other man that have been managing this team all season. What are you coaching these players? I don't understand it. I don't get it. Man in the comments asking, what's pressing got to do? What got to do when you don't finish your dinner? What dinner? What's dinner? We don't create chances. It's only in the last couple of games under Mason that we've actually been creating some chances. What dinner do we have? There's no food on the plate. There's no food. There's no dinner to finish because they don't create. Because they don't create dangerous moments enough in a game of football. There's nothing to eat. The one chance I saw that Spurs manufactured early on in the second half was as a result of what? Pressing Aston Villa high up the pitch and getting them to turn over the ball. The one time you actually tried to engage in the press, Højbjerg takes the ball off Douglas Luiz, Harry Kane in on goal. And then I think the only other chance I saw on Match of the Day was Kulusevski's effort. But I don't need to watch this game for 90 minutes. I know the pattern with Spurs. I know the pattern with Tottenham. Right? The front three don't press, which then makes it easy for teams to play out. Play out, you've already bypassed our front three. And then you're up against a midfield two. You're up against a midfield two of Skip and Højbjerg that we've already established. This does not work. Neither of these men are built to even, for starters, neither of these men are good enough to be starting for Spurs week in, week out. Let's just get that one clear. Højbjerg is our third midfielder, our third best midfielder in the team at best. And he's playing every single game, 90 minutes non-stop. Skip is a rookie. Decent player, but he's clearly not good enough to be playing for Spurs week in, week out. But he has to play there because we've got injuries. And he's done okay there. He's done okay. But his okay is simply not good enough. It's not. And it's probably not his fault. He's not asking to be playing week in, week out. Spurs should have better players available, but we don't. And when we play these two in the midfield, I've said it, for starters, on top of the fact that they're not good enough to be playing week in, week out for Spurs, right? They're not good together as a duo. They can't play in a two. They can't do it. They can't do it. When you play these guys in the midfield, you need one more in there with them. They can't play in a two. They can't. And when I say this, people say it as if I'm hating on Skip. I'm not hating on Skip. I'm not hating on Skip. I've grown to warm to Oliver Skip, but he's not good enough to be starting week in, week out for Spurs. And he can't play in a two-man midfield because he doesn't have the on-the-ball qualities that we need. But he's what, 23? He ain't a kid, but he has nowhere near the minutes that Højbjerg has played. Højbjerg is the senior man. Højbjerg is the elder statesman, and he plays even worse. He plays worse. Runs around like a headless chicken, offers us nothing defensively, and is so toothless in possession. My friends are telling me that the midfield performance improved when Basuma came on. And I'll tell you this for free. I've maintained this all season. Basuma has not played well for Spurs for the most part in the games he's played. But Basuma shits on Højbjerg as a footballer. He is better than Højbjerg. He's better. And then even Pape Matar on the bench, when I pitch this to my friends, they say, oh no, he's not good enough. We don't know. We don't know because he don't play. When your midfield 2 is clearly not working, why do you keep playing it? It's clear to see that those guys, they need one more in there. And even then, it's still not good enough. But at least it's better than the alternative, which is playing these two together and then I'm sick and tired of seeing these guys constantly outnumbered and constantly out of ideas on the ball. I'm sick of it. I'm actually sick of it. How many progressive passes do these men make in 90 minutes? How many? Let me even check the stats because I've got this app, Stat Zone. This shit irks me. It infuriates me, right? Because obviously we switched formation. We played a 4-4-2 or 4, which switches into maybe like a 4-3-4-3 out of possession. But these guys, they just can't play in the middle together, man. They can't do it. Look at this. And this is always the case. In terms of most passes in our team, our centre-backs are making more passes than our midfielders. Why? Because we struggle to play out. We struggle to play out. Our centre-backs have the lion's share of possession. They have to be the ones to progress the ball because our midfield don't do it. Our midfield don't do it. Yesterday, Romero had 65 out of 72 passes. Longley had 64 out of 76 passes. Højbjerg has 46 out of 53. And our next midfielder, Oliver Skip, 17 passes. 17 passes. Højbjerg is actually, he's dusted at Spurs. And Skip, 17 passes. They can't play together. They can't do it. Spurs need one more in there if you're going to play these two. And for some reason, we can't seem to understand that. On the Big Six, I was asked, you won Crystal Palace. And I said, yeah, we won. So what? We weren't good. Yeah, we created enough chances to win, but it was a visibly painful game of football to watch. It wasn't a good performance. The midfield were making, the centre-backs were making more progressive passes than the midfield. The front line was actually poor. The one moment of quality we had in the game was Harry Kane to Porro to Kane. Outside of that, we were poor. Poor. There was nothing to celebrate. Poor performance. And I'm seeing all the gas, the noise from Mason. I don't even hate Mason. Big up to him for coming in and trying to take the job under dodgy circumstances. But my guy, even you can't fix this. As good as you think you are, you can't fix this. This is a problem too big for you. It is a problem too big for you. You see that? The passing. It's a joke thing. Chances created. Obviously, 1 second. If I come out of this, I don't know why it's done this. So chances created in a game, right? So if I click on top players, chances created, nothing from our midfield or our attack. I think it was only Pedro Porro and Perisic that created chances. Attacking third passes. Here's the interesting bit, yeah. Attacking third passes. So I'm going to go to this match, right? I'm going to go to this match. So Højbjerg played 90 minutes. Quelle surprise. What a surprise. Oliver Skip was subbed on 61 minutes for what looks like Basuma, right? Yeah. So Basuma was on the pitch for 29 minutes plus some change due to injury time. And Basuma has made more attacking third passes than Højbjerg. Basuma, it says top, look, I'm not making it up. Top players attacking third. You see that, right? Top players attacking third. What do you see there on the list? Second, Basuma, 11 out of 11 passes. This ain't even anything special. This is simply you as a midfielder getting the ball from the middle of the pitch into the final third. The basic, the bare minimum for any midfielder that's worth anything about them in the Premier League. The bare minimum. And he's top. And he was only on the pitch. He was only on the pitch for 29 minutes. Like I said, I don't need to watch 90 minutes to tell you what is wrong with this team. Look at that. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, 9 passes. 9 passes into the attacking third. And only 5 of them were accurate. 9. You played 90 minutes. You played 90 minutes. You had 53 passes. And only 9 are being attempted to go into the opposition final third. Can you imagine? What kind of coward are you as a midfielder? You are a coward. You're an absolute coward. Next season, I need this guy gone. I need him gone. And I need Skip to be firmly a rotational piece. I can't even see Ollie Skip here. I can't even see Ollie Skip. There's no passes from Skip into the attacking third. And you know what? Skip is a DM. So it's my fault because I'm expecting something from a guy who literally isn't built to play this way. This isn't his MO. His MO is off the ball, which I don't think he was good at from what I saw yesterday and from the stats, right? But that's not his MO, right? Højbjerg, you're meant to be the leader of the midfield. You're meant to be the one who's capable of making these progressive passes. It's a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. 53 passes, and only 9 making it. Only 9 of those passes you're trying to make into the opposition's final third. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. Longley, a centre back, made more passes into the attacking third than Højbjerg. Longley, deep that, please. It's a disgrace, man. It's a disgrace, and he's a disgrace. So I've already broken it down. Our front line, they don't press, right? And then even in possession, Richarlison, poor. Son, poor. Not good enough. Even Harry Kane, it didn't look like he had a good game yesterday. From the numbers I can see, it didn't look like he had a good game yesterday. He scored, props to him, but he didn't play well. His goal's not going to save him. He didn't play well. He did not play well. So on top of the fact that we don't press, we actually have some attackers who are just poor in possession. We have a midfield that are constantly outnumbered, are not good enough from the ball. Yeah. And also don't press, don't harry teams. We are just such a toothless side, which doesn't even make sense. And I don't mean toothless in terms of goals. We got firepower. I'm talking toothless in terms of our aggression. In terms of our aggression on the ball, it's non-existent. It's non-existent. We're one of the dirtiest teams in the league. When it comes to fouling, oh yeah, they're great. Yellow cards, foul, cool. How about putting some pressure on the opposition, buddy? How about that? How about hassling the team? How about squeezing teams, pinning them into their own halves? playing further up the pitch. Why are Spurs not being coached to play this way? Why do Spurs have players that don't play this way? It's a shambles, man. It's an utter shambles. I have no words for the defense, to be honest. I have no words. I've spoken on the defense a million times. A million times. I've spoken on the defense a million times this season. And they are one goal away from 60 goals conceded with 2 games left to play. I know what they are. I know what this defense is. It has poor players. It has players who are rash. It has players who are playing bad. It has everything. But what it also has is no fucking protection. No flipping protection. That's what it has. As a unit, we are so easy to play against. Right? I gave a 3-point. It's not even a manifesto. I gave a 3-point. 1 second. Where is it? So I said this to my boy yesterday, bro. Like, in order for Spurs to be better defensively and offensively, so I said it's a combination of the following. So, and I'll read what I said to him. I said, having a front line who can squeeze teams, a midfield who can support this press, and a defense who can play higher up the pitch. It is fundamental, both offensively and defensively. You get a lot of chances from the oppositions turning over possession in their own half. Trust me, I know Spurs have done it a million times. How many times have we conceded so early into games? First 15 minutes of a game. How many times have Spurs conceded this season? Number 2 is the obvious, getting better defenders. Number 3, having midfielders who can be brave in possession, can play under pressure, can play progressive passes, and can actually defend. They can act midfielders that can actually defend. Our 2 best midfielders defensively and on the ball have been injured for the last couple of weeks. One hasn't really been given the opportunity over the course of the season and hasn't played one, Basuma. But make no mistake, Spurs fans, this guy is without a doubt our second best midfielder. Our best midfielder, he's not going to be back until November. What happens after that is we're stuck with guys who are just flawed in many ways. We have Oliver Skip, who's a diligent defensive midfielder, but literally offers us minimal on the ball. We have Højbjerg, who isn't good defensively, who flatters to deceive on the ball, just runs around like a headless chicken. And we have Sarr, who gets no game time. I've been begging for Spurs to upgrade this midfield. Upgrade this midfield. The lack of technical quality in this midfield is scary. It is absolutely scary. Big up to Arman for the super chat. He says, Tobs, imagine if we had a plan, hired Nagelsmann with no Europe next season and a full pre-season and back in the window, but Levy has Levy has other ideas. Bro, I'm going to talk on this next. Ash, big up Ash for the super chat. He says, Eze is affordable and gettable, top AM potential. Who knows Who knows? But I'm done talking about that Aston Villa game. The Aston Villa game is a embodiment of everything we've spoken about this season. It's the same shit. It's the same shit over and over again. I'm going to go on the Big Six on Monday and say the same shit that I've said pretty much for months about this team away from home and even at home. The same crap. Oh, Tobes, what was the Spurs game like? Someone will say, oh, I think that was one of the worst. That's the worst Spurs performance I've seen. Blah, blah, blah. The amount of times I've heard them man say that, I've lost count. That might be the worst Spurs performance, blah, 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 I've seen. I'm just bored of it, man. I'm just bored of it. And I just need the season to end. And as I said, I'm glad somewhat that there is no way out. There is no silver lining. I don't want there to be. I don't want them to have a reason to stick to Ryan Mason, to say, oh no, maybe this is the way forward. I don't want there to be no silver lining from this season. I want it to be an utter disaster because it has been. I don't want this board to snatch onto a small win. Oh no, but we managed to get Europa League football. I want it dead. I want it dusted, fully dusted. Finish 8th, finish 9th. I want it to not work. Because I don't want to see Ryan Mason next year. I don't want to see a lot of these players next year. I don't want to see any of it. I want it fully dusted, fully muddied. Because when you give the incompetent ownership at the top, the smallest W, they'll latch onto that and pretend like that's the winning formula. I want them muddied. I need them to see that the way they are running this club is an absolute disgrace. And now it's the perfect time to pivot onto Julian Nagelsmann. So shortly after I did my preview on Friday, the Spurs rumor mill breaks out. Alistair Gold, Eccleshare, Dan Kilpatrick, Fabrizio Romano, they all come out with the same shit. Oh my God. In fact, to be fair to Romano, he didn't say the same thing, but literally Eccleshare, Kilpatrick, and Alistair Gold, word for word, blow for blow, they said the exact same thing. Oh, Spurs pull out of race for Julian Nagelsmann. Spurs pull out. Spurs are no longer considering Nagelsmann as a candidate. That's what they were saying. Spurs are no longer considering Nagelsmann as a candidate. That's what they said. So let me even go on to this Eccleshare guy, man, because he was pissing me off, man. Because honestly, I lost it when I saw this news. Let's see. Okay. Where is it? Nonsense. I'm gonna find it, so I'll share it. I'll share it with you guys. Yeah. Here we go. Where is this tweet? Oh, doing my nutting. One sec. Dan Kilpatrick, you'll have it. I'm gonna find it now, but the happy clapping I saw was a disgrace, man. Was a disgrace, an absolute disgrace. Where is this tweet? Where is this flipping tweet? Pissing me off, man. I can't find it. One sec. I don't know why I can't find it. Yes, here we go. I found it. Yeah, let me share my screen with you guys. Oh, and for the people saying Romero hype, Romero's been dog shit this season, so I can't even speak on my man. He's been a disgrace for most of the season. I still think he's a very good centre back, but there's no saving grace for him this season. Disgrace. You can't play like this. You can't play like this and claim to be our best defender. Been a scrub this season. And in recent weeks, it feels like you have one good game, then you go back to being crap. Then you have one good game, then you go back to being crap. It's just not good enough. But here it is. Breaking. Spurs do not intend to meet with Julian Nagelsmann, and he is not currently a contender for the manager's job. Spurs respect Nagelsmann, but do not consider him for them at the moment. Yeah? Let me tell you how hilarious this is. Let me go to Paul O'Keefe as well. So, Paul O'Keefe, hilarious. So, this is what he said. This is what he said. All the candidates out there, and they try to discredit the leading one by distancing themselves from him. Frightened he'll do to you what he did to CFC, so getting in first. Never wanted him anyway. Give me strength. Now, I must admit, when the news broke out, I said to my boy was like, Spurs are just saving face because Nagelsmann's knocked them back. And I said, nah, man, I'm not sure if I buy that. Like, I don't understand how that could be the case. when we've heard all this news about how he's interested, he's this, he's that, he's this, he's that. They're a shambles, man. And he was right. My boy was right. And I agree with Paul O'Keefe. And all these happy clapping merchants who are coming out of the woodwork and saying that he's not the right fit for us, you're a disgrace. You're an absolute disgrace. And this club, they're going nowhere fast. They're sinking. They're absolutely sinking. They were given a Hail Mary, right? Amongst the shit season you were given, they were given a golden ticket. Now, it doesn't solve everything, of course. As we've seen, you don't just bring in a good manager and then everything just changes. You need to bring in a good manager, and you need to put the right footballing infrastructure around said good manager for him to do the job to his best of his ability. But you had a manager who had a big name. Yes, he may have had a big name because he just finished managing Bayern Munich. You don't get that job if you ain't got any sort of credibility about you as far as football is concerned. But this rhetoric that hiring Julian Nagelsmann is like, he would see the job as, oh, he's doing Spurs a favor. It stinks. It is a lousy opinion. This is a man who's managed Hoffenheim and Leipzig. He's had one big job in his footballing, in his managerial career. And now all of a sudden he's a man that looks down on Spurs? Really? So by that logic, Pochettino, because he managed PSG, he would now look down on Spurs? Really? Luis Enrique had managed Barcelona and Spain and was interested in the Spurs gig. I don't even want to deviate, but the point I'm making is this. How can you have that statement for a man who has literally made his name managing a team where the resources are limited? It doesn't make sense to me. This guy was managing Hoffenheim, and even at Leipzig, yeah, sure, he had more money to spend, and he had good players, but he also had to deal with selling his better players, right? He also had to deal with being up against a superpower in Bayern Munich. He had to overperform with Leipzig to get a look in at the Bayern job. He had to overperform. This is a guy who has a history of overperforming. And he gave you conditions. Who's going to be the director of football? That's what he's asked. I want to see who the director of football is before I take the job, etc., etc. So in my head, what's happened is Nagelsmann's interested in joining, but has given you his terms. You are not willing to meet his terms. He's effed off. He's effed off. And this is fundamentally the issue with Spurs. We have people who run this club that don't actually have a clue how to take Spurs from being that club that were wheeler dealers, spending less than their rivals, selling their best players, to an established club that can actually spend the right money on the right players and make the necessary improvements in the football pitch. We have been lost over the last couple of years. We've been lost. And it's a shame because it always feels like we make one step forward and we take 10 steps back. Some of the players that we signed in the last 18 months, for instance, they've been good players. But for whatever reason, they've not been utilized properly. They've not fit the manager's way of playing, etc., etc., etc. And the players that we are missing, they still make no concerted effort to sign them. We still are waiting for Jan Vertonghen's replacement at centre-back. We still are waiting for a replacement for Christian Eriksen. We are still waiting for replacements in the midfield alongside your Bentancur and Bissouma. We're still waiting for a new goalkeeper. Still. It's a shambles, man. Julian Nagelsmann was the perfect candidate for Spurs. And I don't want to hear otherwise. The perfect candidate for Spurs. He had a big enough name where he could command respect, but he would go about the job like a hungry manager. Very meticulous in the way he works. Very detail-oriented. He's someone who coaches front-footed football. Yeah, he's someone who works and spends time with the players. He's someone who actively makes changes in games. He's a nerd. He's a football hipster. Very in the detail. And that is what Spurs need. A coach. A flipping coach. Miss me with all this, oh, he'll feel like he's doing us a favor, BS. Miss me with that. And look at this happy clapper. Let me even bring him up now. Let me even bring him up now. 1 second. I saw Charlie Eccleshare tweet this rubbish. So he goes, where is it? Where's this nonsense that this guy was tweeting? Where's this nonsense that this guy was tweeting? He goes, never really felt like Nagelsmann was quite the right fit, and now confirmed he's not in the running. Seemed like a bit of an outlier. How? Excuse my French, how the fuck did he seem like an outlier? How? How did he seem like an outlier? The names that we've heard linked for the job, Slot, Poch, even though Spurs didn't approach him, Xabi Alonso, Julian Nagelsmann, Luis Enrique, Ruben Amorim. All of these guys play a modern approach. Maybe Amorim is a bit more pragmatic. They all play out from the back. The majority incorporate a high press. The majority, if not, in fact, all of them, have a history. Well, put Xabi Alonso out here because I don't really know much about him. All of that, the other names have a proven track record of getting the best out of players that aren't that great, getting good results out of teams that aren't that good. Where is the outlier? You mean he's got the biggest name outside of Pochettino? That's what they mean. He said never really felt. Why is he not the right fit? What is the right? If Julian Nagelsmann wasn't the right fit, what is the right fit? We've been told that Spurs need someone who needs to restore the culture. Well, this is a guy that worked with young players at Hoffenheim and Leipzig. This is a guy that plays aggressive, front-footed football, right? This is a guy that's very in the detail, that actually spends hours and hours on his coaching methods. This is a guy who isn't that divisive. He's not that divisive, in my opinion. Right? He had friction with the Bayern Munich hierarchy. Yeah. But this is a guy who's not going to mud you as a club. This isn't a guy who comes out disrespecting you as a team, as an institution. So explain to me why he's not a right fit. He has the style of play that you believe that Spurs should be playing. Right? He has the capacity to work with a limited budget and turn something and make more out of it, which is something that most managers would have to deal with Enoch. So how is he not a good fit? How is he not the right fit? The fact that it's not happening probably confirms it's not the right fit if the two parties didn't feel they'd be especially. You fucking happy clapper. Shut up. Shut up. Him, Gold, they've been feeding us this rubbish for weeks that he's the leading candidate. And how are you now just changing your story? How? Do these guys have no shame? Genuinely, do they have no shame? Nonsense. And then they'll come out with Mason. I see that guy who works for the for Athletic or Tifo saying that Mason's the right fit. Based off what? I'm sick of these guys. They don't want Spurs to prosper. And every single nonsense that the club put out, they'll push it. because they want their exclusives. They'll push out the rhetoric that the club want. What do you mean? It's nothing to do with him not being the right fit. He wanted the club to be run a certain way. The club didn't feel like it should be run that way. And he knocked Spurs back. What's wrong with them? They don't want this team to prosper. It's embarrassing. Sky Sports reporting that Mason's going to be considered. Certain man tweeting Mason should get the gig. Based off what? These men are going to get me angry. Based off what? And they're all pushing the same rubbish, the same nonsense that they were pushing out last summer. Oh, transfer war chest. Oh, 2 centre-backs, Bastoni, Gvardio, only to end up with Longley on loan. I'm sick to death of these journals now. That's why I have to take what they say with a pinch of salt. Because they're just liars. They're just liars. You are lying. If you think that this guy wasn't the right fit, if you think that the club only turfed this guy because he wasn't the right fit, then you're a liar. Either you're a liar or you're just deluded. It's one of the two. Disgrace, absolute disgrace. You're meant to be putting out unbiased pieces, and yet you're singing to the club's hymn sheet. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. Honestly, it is an absolute shambles. Miss me with all of that PR nonsense. Miss me with all of that. I hate it. I can't stand it. Give your opinion. I get it. You're covering Spurs news. You don't want to burn bridges, but give your flipping opinion, your true opinion. It's a joke. And now we've missed out on yet another good manager. My thing with Nagelsmann is I'm fuming because for me, he was a perfect candidate. He was a perfect candidate. And what he was asking for isn't even like unique. It's not even specific. Do you think Pochettino wouldn't ask the same things if he was actually approached properly? Do you think Amorim won't ask the same things? It is a very normal request. Who am I going to be working with as the director of football? I need to know that. How much money am I going to have available to spend? How much say am I going to have in transfers? Like, these are normal questions that any manager would want, especially a manager that's willing to even entertain the shit heap that is Spurs right now. But no, they don't care. They don't care about any of this. And piss poor journalism like this, I don't like it. Happy clappers, I hate it. Right? When it comes to Spurs, I'm going to give my real opinion on Spurs. I don't give two shits about no brand deal, no sponsorship, no nada. I don't care about any of that. If I don't like the way they're doing things, I'm going to speak out on it. I'm going to speak out on it. If I don't want Ryan Mason as the Spurs manager, I'm going to speak out on it. I don't care. I don't care. Ryan Mason. Ryan flipping Mason. Nagelsmann isn't the right fit, but Ryan Mason is. Why? How have you come to that conclusion? And what pisses me off as well is there are good managers out there. Nagelsmann, Poch, who has now just agreed to agreed to a deal for Chelsea. Amorim, there are all these good managers out there, but you have to sell the project to them. Like, why does this ownership actually think that they can run this club the way they have and expect that managers should just go with their line of thinking? Your line of thinking hasn't worked. Spurs are literally sat sixth. Spurs haven't been a consistent top four side for the last 4 or 5 years. It's a disgrace, man. It's a disgrace. Didier Drogba voice. It's an effing disgrace. It's an effing disgrace. And when I heard that news, I lost it on Friday. And then even the Kulusevski news, Ryan Mason coming out with these cryptic quotes. My guy, shut the F up and just give it to us straight. I'm not sure if he's going to stay. What the hell does that mean? What the hell does that mean? And when I say this, I'm not blaming Ryan Mason for this. Why are the club not sure if Kulusevski's staying? Why? Why are we even entertaining the notion that he's not going to be signed permanently? Why are we doing this? It's like every decision they're taking is to the detriment of the club, and they can't see that. It's a disgrace, man. They're an actual disgrace. The good decisions, they won't take it. The tough decisions that can benefit Spurs, they won't take it. They won't take it. These guys, they're dusted. Even they're dusted, right? I don't know if they're going to leave soon. I don't know if they're going to sell up. The likelihood is no. But as far as them being successful owners is concerned, they're dusted. They're absolutely dusted. And that Brentford game, 12:30 kickoff, we need to leave empty seats. We need to channel our frustration positively as a fan base into that game. Whether it's a protest outside, whether it's leaving empty seats, there needs to be something that's coordinated. Because that is a disgrace. They're a shameless institution. They're shameless. We've pulled out of the race for Nagelsmann. Yeah, flipping right. Bullshit. Bullshit. He asked for something. You don't want to give it to him. He's effed off. The man was willing to join the club. And I don't get this, oh, he's doing us a favor. He's doing us a favor notion. Spurs need a manager who won't look at it as they're doing him a favor. Which manager wouldn't look like it? Which manager wouldn't look at the job as that right now? Genuinely. Even the up-and-coming managers. Why would they want to tarnish their rep by managing a club that are so unstable? Genuinely. And when I say this shit, people say, oh, you think little of your club. Why should I think highly of them? They don't even think highly of themselves. Why should I think highly of this club? You've been running this club in such a way that has made it unappealing for some managers. But there are still managers interested in this gig. There are still good managers interested in this job. And you don't even want to do what is necessary. And what makes it worse is the things that they're asking aren't things that are just beneficial to manager A or manager B. They're things that are beneficial to the club. Who's the new director of football? How is that just a Nagelsmann thing? Really? They're a disgrace. They're a disgrace. I actually look at them with so much disdain. The anger I have towards this ownership, it couldn't be higher. They're a disgrace. They're an absolute shambles. Nagelsmann isn't the right fit. I wanted to punch the wall when I read that nonsense that all these merchants were spinning out. Disgrace. I spoke about Harry Kane, and I'm going to end on this as well. Good luck convincing Harry Kane. Good luck. Oh yeah, we're going to put Ryan Mason as manager. Yeah, great. I'm out anyway, people, man. Enjoy your Sundays. Enjoy the football. Enoch out.